Do you recognize this song?
So let's ride.
This song was produced by Sophie Zion, more popularly known as Sophie, a beloved musician, producer, singer, songwriter, and DJ from Scotland. You might also recognize Sophie's signature sound through her production on songs like Yeah Right by Vince Staples and Bitch I'm Madonna by Madonna. Although she is originally from Glasgow, Scotland, Sophie moved to London to play in a band called Motherland. You can really hear the beginning cultivation of Sophie's iconic sound. Sophie also scored a Dutch short film titled Dear Mr. / Mrs. in 2011. Aside from that, Sophie was building up her name in the underground dance music DJ scene by producing songs for other artists. Then Sophie released her debut single in 2013 titled Nothing More to Say. The main synth's bright sonic qualities and bubblegumish chords are the first sounds that will define her style. This is more like a mixture of pop and EDM than her current industrial hyperpop sound. It feels like it fits right in between her production for Motherland and her second single, which I'm about to show you. Bip quickly followed the release of Nothing More to Say.
Make it all clear.
This is a noticeable step up from Nothing More to Say. Sophie now includes lyrics on top of the high-pitched vocal chops and ad-libs, and also plays around more with silence in the song. The bouncy, industrial-sounding bass adds a nice contrast to the high-pitched, smooth vocals, and this dynamic takes the track a step closer to hyperpop. Sophie then released a ton of singles in 2015 and spent a lot of time collaborating with a variety of artists, including Charli XCX and Diplo. One of Sophie's singles, Lemonade, was actually featured in a McDonald's commercial. Let's talk about another one of Sophie's singles from 2015, titled Hard. The whole track has this really attention-grabbing, almost unsettling dryness to it. This gives the track more space and allows for the rhythmic bass to hit even harder. The aggressive sound design contrasts perfectly with the cute little high-pitched ad-libs and shimmering synths. You can tell Sophie was experimenting more with sound design and choices of percussion. But before Sophie released her debut album, she pumped out a ton of cool collaborations. In 2015, Charli XCX announced a collab with Sophie, and we soon found out that she wasn't just talking about one song, but a ton of songs. The Vroom Vroom EP was primarily produced by Sophie. She produced Paradise, Secret, Trophy, and the beloved Vroom Vroom. And that's just one project Sophie and Charli worked on together. Sophie also worked on the song After the After Party. She even has a little cameo in the music video. I was honestly a little surprised when I found out that Sophie worked on After the After Party because it sounds so conventional compared to what Sophie usually works on with Charli. It's really cool to see how Charli's sound has gradually changed the more she's worked with Sophie. I mean, think about it. She's the same person who gave us Boom Clap. Charli has said in several interviews how Sophie has pushed her to step outside of the box of pop. Who knows what Charli would be making now if she would have never reached out to Sophie. Sophie also has production credits on a few songs on Charli's mixtape, Number One Angel, and another one on our mixtape Pop 2 for the song Out of My Head. Another artist Sophie frequently worked with is Vince Staples. Sophie co-wrote and produced 2 tracks on Vince's second studio album, Big Fish Theory, Yeah Right, and Samo. The production on Yeah Right kind of reminds me of Sophie's song Face Shopping.
Boy, yeah right, yeah right, yeah right.
You can really hear the similarities in the intros of both of the tracks too. Listen closely for that sort of muted, pulsating rhythm in the background.
Boy, yeah right, yeah right, yeah right.
Now let's talk about Samo. You can hear Sophie's sound more than anything in the high-pitched, crunchy little synth noises. The staccato rhythm also vaguely reminds me of songs like Hard. These aren't the only artists that have collabed with Sophie. She's also worked with Cashmere Cat, Flume, Let's Eat Grandma, Jimmy Edgar, Kim Petras, and several others. In 2017, Sophie rolled out a bunch of singles that led to her debut album after almost 2 years of not releasing any new material. The first single is It's Okay to Cry. This song's music video was the first time images of Sophie herself were used in a release. She soon after opened up to the press about being a transgender woman and how coming to terms with that has affected the music she made. Sophie said that coming out as trans is ultimately a reclamation of your identity. It means there's no longer an expectation based on the body you were born into or how your your life should play out and how it should end. Sophie then released Ponyboy along with a self-directed music video. The third single from the album is Face Shopping, which is my personal favorite Sophie release. At first listen, it seems like there's only one phrase of lyrics.
My face is the front of shop.
But when you listen closely, you can hear that deep rumbling noise that comes in with the drop is also lyrics. That's just one aspect of the song that really blew my gasket. I actually didn't notice that until I watched the music video, which is absolutely ridiculous, by the way. Like, look at it. Probably my favorite music video of all time. It's so cool how they mix in this quick flashing imagery with this unreal model of Sophie. I mean, look at that. They turned Sophie into like a balloon or something. And that brings us to the full debut album, Oil of Every Pearl's Uninsides. I'm not entirely sure on what this means. But one source said that the title may be a variant spelling of the phrase, I love every person's insides. My overall thoughts on this album can be summed up as, this is like nothing I'd ever heard before. She switches up the vibe so much, but still makes it feel so cohesive. She goes from comforting, warm tracks like It's Okay to Cry, right into the super aggressive burst of energy, Ponyboy and Face Shopping. Every track on the album feels the slightest bit unsettling, but in different ways. And that's really my favorite part of this project. It's supposed to make us feel a little uncomfortable because it pushes the boundaries of conventional music so much and does it so effectively that you want to go back and keep listening. Sophie literally made history with this album. It was nominated for Best Dance/Electronic Album at the Grammy Awards. She was both the first openly transgender artist to be nominated for this category and one of the 3 first openly transgender women to be nominated for a Grammy at all. Even though the Grammys kind of stink and are probably going to be obsolete in like 10 years, it's still pretty cool. Unfortunately, in January of 2021, Sophie passed away in a terrible accident in Athens, Greece. Sophie's family released a statement that said, true to her spirituality, she had climbed up to watch the full moon and accidentally slipped and fell. Sophie was one of our generation's most ambitious, technically gifted musicians. Sophie's work has transcended electronic music and influenced artists from a variety of genres. She has altered the perception of pop music into something more multidimensional, so much so that fans of hers have been calling on NASA to name a planet after Sophie. Watching Sophie's journey to self-acceptance through music has inspired so many, and has emphasized the voice of the LGBTQ community. One of the most powerful things about music is that it can communicate feelings so articulately without really saying much, just through the sounds. And the way that Sophie communicated feelings of self-discovery and innovation made her work feel so out of the box, yet so relatable at the same time. Rest in peace, Sophie. May your legacy live on.